misrallied Robo right there, but anyway. What you want as your main composition is Zealots with charge, so that those things just destroy bio armies so well. They're really good. They're totally underutilized. I mean, people get a few to use as meat shields, but if you get a lot, like, look at this. That's like most of my army is Zealots. That's a lot of Zealots. That's what you want. You want so many Zealots that you get a huge surround and you just crush. You want like Zergling Zealots, okay? You want a swarm of Zealots. Meanwhile, you also want lots of Immortals. Those crush Marauders. And if he decides to go tanks, I mean, this Charged Blood Immortal will destroy that too, very easily. And Thor. It'll crush Thor. And, of course, I'm backing it up with some High Templar to throw my gas into. You know, a lot of people go Zealot, High Templar, and that's their composition, and that's good. I like that composition too. That's a very good one. But I feel like they don't get enough Charged Zealots. They focus too much on the High Templar, and they don't get Immortals, which are so damn good. Immortals are the most underutilized unit in the game, I feel. And meanwhile, I'm using this Warp Prism to harass a bit. My goal was to warp in a High Templar right here and storm his SCVs, which will kill them. He does have a Planetary Fortress here, but the main problem is I'm actually maxed out, so I cannot make a High Templar. So I decided to attack for that very reason. At this point, I think I should throw down a lot more gateways. Oh, I did. Perfect. These guys should be morphing into warp gates. I don't know if I do that anytime soon. So here's the battle. Let's check this out. This is sweet. Sweet battle. Look at the surround by the Zealots. That's like a Zergling surround, right? And here are all these Immortals just destroying everything. And while these guys are trapped by the Zealot surround, I'm going to storm them. And Storm takes care of all these Medivacs and Ravens, but they're useless anyway. And I'm just attack moving here, I'm not even microing. Yeah, this will actually be fixed in the next patch. Right now, the Zealots do not auto-attack repairing SCVs. They focus on the planetary, and if the SCVs surround the planetary, it's not very effective. But, thankfully in the next patch, repairing SCVs will get the same priority as the unit they're repairing. So, that will be okay. And meanwhile, I'm storming SCVs. Let's take a look at that again. Because it's so awesome, I just love it. Ready, storm! Dead. 5 kills. And I'm just going to transport him down here, but there isn't Planetary Fortress, so that does not work out so well. And he's out of energy, also. So, whatever. These guys are still not warp gates. I did this because of what Day 9 calls the 300 food push, which is an awesome name. And with this type of push, you want to make like a billion unit producing structures. And oh, watch out, Immortal. The thing with Immortals is they actually get countered by Marines, so I'm just gonna pull them back. But every other part of my army counters Marines, so it's okay. Anywho, what I was saying was the 300 food push, if you missed that daily, was where you make a whole bunch. When you're maxed out, you want to make a bazillion unit producing structures as your money gets really high, so that when you lose your army, you can remake it really, really fast. Sort of like how Zerg likes to stockpile larvae. And I'm sending some gold probes in, but anyway. So if you have like 200 gateways, and because you have so many excess minerals, and then your 200 food army gets reduced, you can remake that whole 200 food army like instantly. So that's something that's really good. Anywho, so I'll just reiterate the unit composition and the strategy against a Terran player who's going mostly bio, which is the favored style against Protoss. Early game, you want a sentry in order to block the ramp and defend against Marauder pokes, which are very strong. Then, certainly going Colossus is good. Gateway units plus Colossi, very strong. But as soon as you scout the Vikings, don't be afraid to just cut Colossus production completely, focus on ground units, and go for a mix of Charged Zealots, Immortals, and High Templar. Now, some of you might be saying, well, you know, if he got Banshees or Battle Cruisers even, if he had, you know, he probably had a time to tech to that if he really chose to. None of these units except some of the Stalkers can hit air, and I don't have a lot of Stalkers, like I said, because they're not that good in this matchup. Well, that's true. That's a weakness, I think, but in the case of the Battlecruiser, feedback is actually really good. And, well, that works on Banshees too, actually. But if you see Banshees, I mean, I don't know, this, at least for me, in this stage of the game, I could have very easily just thrown down a couple Stargates and got some Phoenixes, or I could have just warped in a round of Stalkers, and I can get Stalkers faster than you can get Banshees. So that would have been pretty good. But, you know, that's probably a weakness that I would see in this. If you see, if they're going like a lot of Banshees in their army composition even, or they're harassing a lot, I think Blink Stalkers would be important. And I did get Blink, because I had the money to, and why the hell not? So, you know, some of you also might be saying, well, I think you just beat that army because you were 4 bases to 3. And, you know, I guess that's kind of fair. But let's just take a look at the army here, or at the battle that happened. And I'm going to speed up a little bit, zoom right through it, get my Immortals, get my Zealots. Let's zoom forward just a tad. And as soon as we look at this battle, we'll find out what happened. And moving out, moving out, moving out. Yeah, I should be moving out anytime now. And here we go. Yes, here we go. Okay, let's take a look at this battle. We have, for the Terran, 27 Marauders, 20 Marines, 3 Ghosts, which are a great choice. I would shut down my High Templar usage, and even the Immortal Hardened Shields, it would shut those down. 8 Vikings, 8 Medevacs, and 3 Ravens. Now, because of my tech switch, the Vikings are useless. The Ravens are mostly useless, except for maybe Hunter's Secret Missile or turrets. He doesn't really use those. And I have only 5 Stalkers, 8 Immortals, and 33 Zealots, and 4 High Templar, which are quite good. Yeah, so really, he has a more heavy bio army. 27 plus 20 is 47 bio units compared to 33 Zealots. So mineral-wise, we're like dead even, actually. The key to this battle for me, now yeah, actually look, according to the army tab, he has a higher gas army and an even mineral army. So my Terran opponent, in terms of the army count, I actually have 80 probes to his 54 SCVs, so the army count is in Terran's favor. This is based on unit composition, okay? The unit composition and the tech switch away from Colossi after he saw it and kept making Vikings. That's how I won this. So let's go ahead and watch this at normal speed. I really didn't even micro this, to be honest. I was macroing during this. So, he's going to have to try and micro away from the Charged Zealots, but you can only micro so much against them, and when I have this many, it's not going to help. The Ghosts not EMPing, that would have been ideal. They don't actually have energy for that. And I'm going to Storm, and his bio army is crushed. And I barely took any losses here. I took about 25 food of losses. Meanwhile, not microing at all, not microing at all. Totally A-moving with... Okay, here we go, micro. But yeah, because I can't target these SCVs, I'm taking a lot more losses than I should have. 10 food of losses there. But it doesn't matter at this point. And the Terran buddy is making lots of stuff. Both of our macros not so good at the moment, but that's excusable, I think. Maybe not for Terran. He actually could have more barracks and focus less on Marines. But anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video and found it at least a little informative. And go make some Immortal Charge Lot High Templar. Awesome, bye.